What's up, Tokos? It's Trent, aka TradeMark here, and the March 9th balance update came out, and I just wanted to post my thoughts on it. I kind of feel like this is like the February update version 2.0. It's like, because the last update was mostly units, this is mostly leaders. I feel like this is just the second part of that balance update. But it came out really fast, and there was a lot of things that needed to happen, so I just kind of wanted to post my thoughts on this. I also wanted to say sorry for not posting more. Work has been really crazy right now, and it's pretty easy for me to post these like one-off recording videos where I just kind of hit record and go for it. But the problem is there's no way to do these types of videos, which are very quick videos, without sacrificing quality. And I'm very much so a perfectionist, and I like my content to be like top of the line. And so when I just kind of do like these one-off takes, a lot of times there's things I forget, or there's changes or little tweaks that I want to make, and I don't have that ability without editing it. And just taking like a recording like this and putting it into Vegas and editing it and rendering it takes quite a bit of time. So usually I just have to like go with what I've got. But I don't know. Maybe the one take videos aren't as bad as I think. I mean, that's really the only thing that I have the time to record right now. So maybe I'll try and do a few more of those this week, and you guys let me know if you like them. Then that's great. I'll just keep posting those while I'm strapped on time. If not, then I'll just stick to like one video every other week or something when I actually have time. Let's go over the balance changes though. So a lot of leader changes. The first nerf is to Box. It goes from all his kills now gain 1 energy instead of 2 per kill. This needed to happen, especially in 2v2. At Kyber, Bosk is really a staple leader. Like he's in almost every team matchup. In aggressive games, like where and especially now with the repair meta, like you really have to be aggressive on towers, and so you die a lot. Boss can get 8 to 10 kills in a single game, and that's huge. It's 16 to 20 energy on his old passive. So now it's toned down a little bit. This hurts him obviously more in 1v1, because in 1v1 I feel like his passive wasn't too OP. I feel like this change maybe should have only happened for 2v2, but it is what it is. Boss is now going to drop down a tier or 2 as far as how strong he is. He's still good, don't get me wrong. Like 1 energy per kill when you're getting 8 to 10 kills, that's awesome. That's the same, that's even a little bit more like energy than you're going to get from like Krennic's passive or something like that. Next of all, we have Thrawn. So Thrawn gets a slight power deduction, but he gets his stormtroopers buffed. So I feel like this is going to balance out. His stormtroopers are now going to spawn at level 5, and then every level of Thrawn will boost the stormtroopers by 2. So if you have a level 3 Thrawn, you're going to have level 9 stormtroopers. Level 9 stormtroopers are still pretty weak. Usually if you have like a level 3 leader, you're going to have like level 11 to 12 commons. So his stormtroopers will still be a little underleveled, but I like this change. In fact, they did this same exact change to all of the leaders that spawn in units, and this had to happen because leaders like Cassian and Leia and Thrawn, Thrawn was good for other reasons, but their unit spawns were very, very weak. They were level 1 units. They just got murdered by everything. They did very little. So this change is a really good, solid change for these leaders. Cassian, same thing. He gets level 5 plus 2 per level. Pathfinders, Leia gets level 5 plus 2 honor guards. Now here's this awesome thing. I'm not going to talk about Cassian. That's all they changed was his Pathfinders. I still find he's too weak to play at the top. But Leia. Let's talk about Leia for a second. I like this change. So, oh shoot, no. Honor guards are only boosted to level 3 for Leia. That's garbage. I don't know. I guess they're rare, so that would make sense. They're not commons. Anyways, let's talk about this. So 3 plus 2 for Leia's honor guards. A really cool thing that they changed is right here. They're now going to be placed in front of her rather than behind her. It's actually important for a few reasons, and my favorite use of this is Leia can spawn behind enemy lines. The unit spawns aren't subject to the tower boundaries. So if you're in a counter push, let's say you kill the enemy, you drop like a Wookiee at the front, it walks into tower range and it's now tanking. You can walk all the way up, run all the way up to tower and drop your honor guards right on top of the turret. That's really huge for a counter push. You can instantly get 3 honor guards attacking the turret. I mean, that's pretty strong. And previously you could kind of do that, but you kind of had to run past this tower and then spawn them, and it made yourself a little more vulnerable. So now putting them in front of her, it's better because enemy units are going to target the honor guards before you. It's just a lot of good units. I mean, this little small change is actually really cool. Her passive movement speed was also increased 10%. So again, the main advantage of that is for swarms or small counter pushes. They're going to be able to lock onto tower just a slight bit faster. They didn't touch her stats, which I find a little surprising because she's still the weakest rebel leader in the game, health and attack damage wise. But I like these changes. I think she will now be decent. But here's a leader that I think is going to be way above decent. And I'm actually a little salty. Here's a good lesson for all of you guys. I'm one of the players who trades away all my cards for leaders that I don't like. I mean, like, Han, for the longest time, I just absolutely despised Han. I hated him because I just had a bad experience with him in soft launch, and I didn't like the card, so I traded away all my cards. And Han's actually a top rebel leader right now, and I don't have any Han cards because I traded all mine away. Jin's the same way. I traded away most of my Jin cards, so I don't have, I think she's level 1, maybe level 2, and Jin is actually now very, very viable. So if you're one of those very few rare people who leveled up Jin and you were playing her post buff or pre-buff, you're going to love her post-update. I mean, 2 changes, but 2 huge changes. One is she had her HP buffed. And I feel like this is necessary because Jin is going to need to be in melee range. So if you guys don't know, Jin has 2 DPS values. At range, she's much lower DPS than she is in melee range. So they brought her HP up, not quite as high as most melee leaders, but high enough that she can skirmish with those, with other people in melee range. So this is good. She needs to be in that melee range to be viable. But this is the huge thing here. Jin Erso's special ability no longer requires special conditions to activate. If you guys remembered me telling you how much I hate leaders like Dengar and Jin and Krennic, who they had to be behind, they had to be losing to take advantage of their special ability. They fixed Krennic, so now Krennic always gets energy gain. Jin now always gets her special, and her special is, I believe, 18% damage to ranged units. Unfortunately, like I said in my last video or balance change update, we don't know what units count as ranged units. Does a light tank count as a ranged unit? Do only the units that benefit like Cassian, like Gigaran Rebel, I imagine Gigaran Rebel, Troopers, and Pathfinders are all going to fit under this. I'm not sure about light tank. I'm not sure about Grenadier. I'm not sure about these other ranged units. So I don't know. I'll have to do some testing to find out which units are actually benefit from her passive, but this is huge. To have a permanent 18% damage increase on your ranged units, depending on how many units this affects, Jin could be potentially the top rebel leader in the game right now. No joke. Like, it will depend on which units her thing affects, but Pal also got a slight DPS increase by boosting his attack speed, but Jin is such in an interesting state. I'm really salty, and this is a lesson to all of us. Netmarble is pretty good about balancing things pretty quickly. So if there's a leader that's out of flavor and not played very much, it's likely that they're going to get a buff. And if there's a leader that's played all the time, it's likely they're going to get a nerf. So that's good news in that don't put all your eggs in one basket. Have a few leaders that you play and have some. Basically, I would suggest kind of building 4 or 5 leaders per side, per Rebel and Empire side at the same time. Next of all, we have the engineers and Treadwell. They got nerfed. I really hate the repair meta. Guys, I'm barely getting in my play packs right now each day. Like some days I miss my play packs. I'm not playing the game very much right now. And my primarily that's because I don't like the repair meta. So they did nerf them slightly, but I don't think this was the nerf that needed to happen. Honestly, the main issue with them is that all of the counters to engineer and droid cost 3 or more energy, except for Dioxis, which is only an Empire counter. So there's no way to gain energy advantage from this counter. I feel like their repair actually needs to go up, and then their energy cost needs to go up. If these two units cost 4 energy, I feel like it'd be much more balanced. But a slight nerf, I'll let it see I'll let it play out and see how it is. I still feel like these two units are still very strong, especially in 2v2 where the lanes are a bit longer. 2v2 balancing, so they moved the health behind the turrets now, and the red zone after turret down has been widened. That needed to happen anyways because previously if you took down mid turret, you could literally spawn units into the red zone of the other turrets. Like you could spawn them into attack range of the turrets, and so it was pretty cheap. So that change probably needed to happen. And then finally they fixed the special not working. Now they list Dengar under here, so I'm wondering if Dengar also gets his passive buff. They didn't list him up here, so maybe, I don't know. I wonder if they made it so Dengar now benefits from his passive even when I don't know. I feel like that's just a bug fix, or else they would have listed Dengar up here. But anyways, guys, this was a change that needed to happen. A lot of rebel tweaks for the weaker leaders. These, honestly, in my opinion, were the weakest 3 rebel leaders. And so it's good that they got a nice little buff there. But that's it for me, guys. I'm really interested to try out Jin now, and maybe even Leia. Might do some videos on them. And Thrawn should still be in a good spot, and Bosk is a little bit weaker as he should be. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Malo, aupito. Thanks for watching, and peace. I'm out of here.